As I lay in bed watching my soon-to-be ex-wife make love to my neighbor and his wife in our lakeside cabin, I decided it was time to let them all know what kind of shit they were already in and how deep they were in it. I dialed my wife's cell phone number and watched as she looked at it and gave the phone the finger, never once looking away from damn Daniel. Okay, since she didn't want to talk to me, I dialed Sandy's cell phone number as she lay next to her, watching her husband pleasure my wife. She looked at the number and, not recognizing it, accepted the call. "Sandy, put your phone on speaker and give it to that bitch next to you, now," I said. Sandy, recognizing my voice, jumped up, startled by the realization that she had caught them all. She handed her cell phone to my soon-to-be ex-wife, who had already stopped making love to Daniel, forgetting to put her phone on speakerphone. "Sharon, put it on speakerphone now." I watched as she figured out how to do this, and then continued. "Don't come home, don't try to call me or contact me in any way. From now on, you are dead to me, and soon you will be dead to everyone else. And just so you know, I didn't cheat on you. It was just a plan made by your good friend so Daniel could have sex with you. Now hand the damn phone to Daniel and listen carefully because what I'm about to say applies to all of you." I spoke as calmly as if I was talking about the weather. Now that she heard my voice, she began to say in shock, "Ron, this isn't, I immediately interrupted her. "That's exactly what I see. The room in which you have sex is connected to audio and video and has been connected for the last 6 weeks. Think about what you three have done and said in the last 6 weeks while you get dressed and pass the phone to your soon-dead lover." Even over the somewhat grainy picture on my laptop, I could see the color drain from her face as she looked at Daniel and said, "He knows and is watching us now." And she handed the cell phone to Daniel, looking around the room as if she could see the cameras, before he could start spewing his crap about how it was the first time. Blah, blah, blah. I interrupted him and said, "Daniel, my good neighbor and good friend, you need to decide 2 things as soon as I hang up after this call. First of all, I hope you have enough cash on you and enough gas in your car to get you out of the country as soon as possible, because from now on, I'm declaring open hunting season for your cheating ass and the 2 sluts with you. And you should know that I am an excellent shooter and keep that in mind. Secondly, never try to return to this area. Don't try to come back to pick up your things or sell your house. It would be a waste of time anyway, since your house is burning down as we speak. Don't bring your slutty wife here, and don't try to be noble by giving me back my soon-to-be ex-wife, because I don't want to see either of them. Your best option is to run. Run as fast as you can to get as far away from me as possible because when I catch you, I fully intend to show you exactly what the North Vietnamese taught me about torture. I know you like those Rambo movies. Well, that was a Hollywood invention. I'm going to show you real life. As for your cheating wife who used to be mine, I wouldn't have anything to do with either one. I'll tell you that it's easier to run alone than to drag 2 unfaithful bitches along with you. They need to know that if they are with you, when I catch up with you, they can share all the fun with you. I'll have no problem including both of them in your torture. I've seen and heard enough over the last 6 weeks that my anger is more than enough to engulf both of them. I'll hang up now. You have 1 hour to get the hell out of my shack, and the clock starts ticking right now. The sad thing is that you don't know exactly where I'm calling from. I could be at home or I could be around the corner at the lakeside grocery store. Start running, idiot." And I hung up. Sharon watched Daniel as I said my part. He turned slightly pale. Then, as if he couldn't believe what I was telling him, he began to demonstrate his confidence that I was all bark and no bite. I was looking at the screen when all 3 of them spoke at the same time. Daniel said, "He's just deceiving us. He doesn't have the courage to do anything like that." "You never listened to what Ron said about Vietnam when you 2 were watching Rambo, did you, Dan?" asked Sharon. "No, all these old veterans embellish their exploits to make themselves feel better," Dan answered. "Well, you're wrong about Ron. He spent almost a year and a half in a Viet Cong prison camp, and I can say with certainty that he has PTSD and still has nightmares. Moreover, he does not lie, has never lied, and hates those who lie." "So what's all this crap about him not cheating on me?" Sharon asked, looking at Daniel and Sandy. Sandy looked at Daniel and said, "Danny, you said that you have evidence that he cheated. Where are they?" Daniel shrugged, saying, "It doesn't matter now. Besides, he has no evidence that anything happened here. This location is not connected to the network. He's lying." Sharon said, "Didn't you hear what I just said? He doesn't lie." "And what do you mean by it doesn't matter?" "Damn, that certainly makes a difference to me." To get things moving, I decided to call them back and put an end to their bullshit. The phone rang, and Sharon, seeing that I was calling and thinking that I was calling to confess that I had lied to them, answered the phone. "Your threats are," she began smugly. I interrupted her. "It's easy to understand who is telling the truth." "Daniel, turn the TV to channel 126 and tell me what you see, you bastard. Then get dressed. You're wasting precious time." "Sandy, call your mother Miriam and ask her how your house is. Remember, time goes by. By the way, Sandy, you might as well ask her why she's been having sex with Daniel every Tuesday at my cabin for the last 5 weeks." And I hung up. Daniel turned the TV to the appropriate channel and immediately saw a live image of the three of them looking at the TV. Sandy called her mother. Her mother said they tried to contact them for 2 hours to tell them about the fire that destroyed their home. Everything disappeared in the fire. When Sandy asked her what she did with Daniel every Tuesday, after a very short silence, Miriam simply said and hung up. Sandy turned to come face to face with Daniel, but all she saw was his back as he walked out to his car and drove away. He didn't even pack his things. He just got dressed, took his money, emptied their wallets, and left the two bitches there alone. No car, no money, no credit cards, nothing. As Daniel drove away from the cabin, Sharon shouted, "You sons of bitches! You both lied to me, and now I have lost my husband, my marriage, and, more than likely, my very life." I was a little disappointed that Daniel left without the ladies, but knew I'd take care of them later. Sandy, who was as stupid as her husband, said, "Oh, don't be so dramatic, Sharon. It was just a little sex. No one would be killed, let alone seriously injured. Ron doesn't have any PTSD, and he's not the right person to—" That was all she had time to say. Suddenly there was a huge explosion as Daniel's car pulled into the driveway and set off the tripwires leading to the charges placed there. There wasn't a square inch of the driver's side door that didn't have a hole in it, and Daniel was already lying dead on the steering wheel. In fact, all the doors were riddled with holes from the elements, so anyone who decided to travel with Daniel would instantly die along with him. With a gray face, Sharon looked at Sandy and asked, "So what are you saying, bitch? No post-traumatic stress? Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think about listening to the next one."